bringing you the music you want to hear. SW20 Radio.
Hello, welcome. This is a brand new show, a brand new feature. If you're listening to us on SW20 Radio, welcome. If you're watching us on YouTube, hello. And finally, if you're catching up with us on kind of various streaming platforms, then hello to you as well. This is super exciting. It's a brand new show, I guess. Lewis, how would you describe this? Is this, I suppose, a bonus feature or a sister show or a kind of a
Yeah,
follow-on
an
to
extension.
the amazing New Music Hour XL, hosted by your wonderful self?
Yeah, and if you've never seen us before, hi.
I know. Hey, and they always say like kind of radio shows kind of don't get seen. But I'm very conscious now. Actually, we're recording this and this is going out on YouTube as well. So I probably need to think about kind of future appearances and
I know. Well, we're both sporting the stash this month, anyway.
I was going to start on that. So I mean, yours is coming on really well. I mean, how is Movember going for you? Are you
It's
kind of doing
fine.
it? Are you doing it like kind of fundraising? Are you going all in, or are you just on in the
I'm.
mo?
I was just interested to see the final finish look at the end of the month. To be fair, so that's what we're going with.
So I've done it to sign up and kind of, and also there's a kind of a move or kind of walk run challenge as well. So I'm trying to do that at
Yes,
the same
yes.
time as well. So this is probably the point of the week where I need to trim the rest of my beard and get it back now, really. So
I know. Well, the
yeah,
thing with me is my facial hair grows quick. I've already shaved everything else about 3 times.
I know it. That's yeah. I kind of let it go for a week, and yeah, like I said, it's probably now where I need to trim it back, and then yeah, it's coming on. It's all good.
Oh,
For
oh,
those who who are not kind of who are new to your SW20 radio or haven't caught your show, just tell us a little bit about kind of New Music Hour XL and what everyone's been missing out on.
yeah, simply the most fresh music I'd like to think anywhere, because music gets consumed at such a rate now, as there's music all the time, but I endeavor to find the best and the freshest. Basically, if I don't like it, I don't play it, so hopefully the listeners vibe with it as well.
I'm literally about to say, I think personally, I mean, I think it's great. I think the music you play is superb, and I've said this to you kind of off air, and I said it to you numerous times that I think nearly every song or artist that you play is amazing, and like I would genuinely add it to my playlist, or I want to find out more about them. I've kind of asked you a few times throughout kind of your shows who was that song, or what was the name of that artist, kind of thing. And I think the fact that you say if you don't like it you won't play it, and I think that's probably a great attitude to have, and it just shows the quality of the music that you're putting out there, really.
Yeah, that is the benchmark, really, if you like. So yeah, lots every week. My week is just music non-stop, but I absolutely love it.
No, great. And I think in terms of New Music Hour XL, there's quite a few kind of recurring features that you put
Yes.
on the show. And on your point then, your whole week is about music, because it's not just the show itself. There's things that you put out on social media across the week, really, to really keep that new music theme going for everyone.
100%. That is the social media age. But yeah, yeah, I do have quite a few features. And just this week, like we were saying about nostalgic pop acts coming back, I chatted to an artist called Alexis Strum,
Yes.
and she was fantastic to chat to. I could have literally spent 2 hours picking her brains about 2000s pop music, because she's been through it all.
She was, I mean, like how good was she? She was, I mean, I caught the interview, was listening to it. She, yeah, she was superb, right? And so engaging. And I got the impression, I think she could have chatted and stayed, stuck around for a bit longer and got involved.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had to edit about 10 minutes out, it was tangents, but I love that with interviews. But yeah, if anyone hasn't heard of her story, basically in the early 2000s, 2002, she was tipped as like a next big thing. And she got quite a lot of industry push. And for whatever reason, pop music around that time kind of was in a bit of a strange position. So she had 2 albums she had recorded, final, and they never got released. She got dropped from both her record deals. So just really, that would have been distraught for her. But her perseverance has just been unwavering. And she worked with other artists after her music didn't work out. So she wrote songs for Kylie. She sang with Robbie Williams as well. So this is how big she could have been at the time. And yeah, just hearing her speak about the experiences, it was just like, wow, you have fought hard to be where you are now.
Yeah, there was a couple of kind of name drops throughout, and I was
I
just, you know,
know.
and she mentioned, I mean, there was two things I want to kind of pick up. I found really interesting. I think she talked about, I think you asked her around kind of who and like now, who around now was like she listening to and who was she enjoying music with, and she mentioned like Sabrina Carpenter, for example. And what was really interesting I found was that she's coming at it from a songwriter point of view. I don't know if you like, she mentioned that like she was not only talking about how incredibly talented like Sabrina Carpenter is and Taylor Swift, but like she's looking at it from a songwriting lens as well, which I thought was, really interesting because I suppose you don't kind of think about it as an everyday listener.
Yeah, and obviously I think there's quite a few pop stars that, they probably dabble in songwriting a little bit, but I think, we can't look past the fact that they obviously have lots of other people that come in to help write songs. But I think Alexis's craft really is her songwriting. That's kind of her bread and butter. And she spoke about, I asked her if like she was sad that her songs got picked up by other artists, whether she wanted to have her moment in the sun with them. But she said, oh, I'm not crazy. If someone like JLo wants to sing my songs,
Yeah,
she can have them. I've written them, but someone else can have them and, make them sail.
it's great. And did you mention being pals or mates with Perez Hilton when he was talking about the
She
Scissor
did.
Sisters?
She did,
I
yes.
was like, did you just drop that in casually and then like just carried on with the story?
Yes. She just had that. She just had that ready to pluck out of her brain. One of those people like, and she's a mum as well. So she must have such a 180 life, doing
Yes.
pop music, writing songs, and then going to pick her daughter up from the school run.
Yeah. But
Very Han Montana.
it was just talking about Scissor Sisters, and Perez Hilton was just talking, messaging me saying, "Do you remember them going on that first show?" And it was like,
I
oh
know.
God, like, and yeah, which we were talking about, with kind of new kind of bands coming back and artists, going back on tour. So yeah, there's kind of a lot of good stuff going on. I thought she was fab. I thought it was a really good interview, and I thought, yeah, she was a superb guest.
Yeah, who would you like to see reunite? If you had like your top three, maybe of artists or bands that you would love to see come back, who would it be?
Great question.
Oh,
I think, oh, I don't know. I'm rubbish for things like that. I need to probably go in. I need to think about stuff like this, but
yeah.
only because probably a lot of bands from kind of the 90s and me growing up kind of are probably already touring. I think kind of that American pop kind of kind of American Pie kind of stuff that was coming out, like Blink
Oh
182
yeah.
on tour. Sum 41 were recently in South Wales as well. So kind of probably some of the Motown artists I know kind of go on tour as well. So there probably are a few that are already on tour. Who hasn't? Um, oh, I don't know. Great question.
It
I mean,
is. It is.
look back to last year, like sorry, even this year, like Foo Fighters, etc. Still going. Rolling Stones still touring. So yeah, I don't know. I'll come back to you on that one. What about you? Anything off the top of your head?
Listen, I think even though we probably share quite a lot of music tastes, I would probably plump for someone a little bit more obscure, shall we say. I would love to see Mystique back.
Nice, great.
But
Yeah,
all
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
them.
That's you're quite a bit, in terms of like, I mean, not the only one, and they get mentioned quite a lot lately as well in terms of comeback, like Sugar Babes and that kind of
Mm,
that pop era, though that those kind of artists. Yeah, Misty. Yeah, great shout. Down
you
like
know,
but I suppose like some of the boy like Damage Five. It'd be great to just
yeah,
relive a
yeah.
bit of kind of youth and nostalgia and
I think the sad thing about some of them is the fact that they were so big for a short time when pop music was maybe a little bit volatile. Is the fact that I think quite a few of them probably don't want to put themselves back in that situation,
yes.
which I find sad, because it probably was quite toxic back then with media and everything. But yeah, that's who I would pump for.
SW20.
So I want to know what you think of 2024 in music in general, to be fair. What do you think it's been like this year?
I think it's been mixed. I think there's a a resurgence in terms of kind of old bands, artists kind of making a bit of a comeback, both in terms in kind of new releases and tours. I think we're seeing a kind of a lot of um, or news of kind of people wanting to get back on tour. Um, I think pop music is probably, do I say the word booming, or it's back maybe in a different guise, but it's more prominence.
Yeah.
Thoughts? What do you reckon?
Well, firstly, you literally took the words out of my mouth in terms of nostalgia. The thirst for nostalgia, I think, is like stronger than ever. You know, you've got Scissor Sisters, Robbie's going back on the road, etc. So I think that's just not going to go away at all. But yeah, I think it's been a really eclectic year for pop music, and I like that pop music can be whatever it wants to now. It doesn't kind of fit the mold of like bubblegum pop like it used to be in the early 2000s. It can be a bit of rock, it can be a bit of hip hop, and it just all comes under that banner. And I think it's, yeah, quite a exciting time for music in general, really.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Don't forget to check out SW20 Radio on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Just search SW20 Radio and follow us for the latest news and updates from South Wales' hottest online radio station.
In terms of kind of the show again this week, I think, like I said, there's a number of kind of themes that you kind of pick out. Welsh Wonder this week. I mean, talk
Yes.
to us about, I suppose, what's the thinking behind the feature itself, and I suppose the Welsh Wonder for this week.
So I am a bit guilty, really, I would say, or have been in the past, for not probably playing as many Welsh acts as I could do, because the Welsh music scene is definitely vibrant. It's definitely ever growing. But I think I find it quite difficult sometimes to find Welsh music or playlists, etc., dedicated to it. So I've made a decision to make sure I find something every week to bring like a new artist to the airwaves and just celebrate them. So that is the basis of the feature, and it's been only been a few weeks really since I've been getting into it. But I've really enjoyed it actually. It's been a positive reaction from the artists on social media because they are quite upcoming and rising. So this week's one was a new-ish band. I think it was their fourth release. They're called Public Order, and they're supporting Hardfi at Tramshed in a couple of weeks. So that's the kind of sound that they're going for. It's quite rock, it's rock heavy, but there's a little bit of noughties dance. It's really like an amalgamation of sounds. And the track was called Stranger, and it was just love it, love it, love it, love it.
I think it was a couple of shows back. You maybe from the last one. I think there were quite a number of Welsh artists and songs that you were kind of featuring, not a as part of this feature, but just in general on your playlist.
Mm.
There were quite a few things coming up. Again, with probably a little bit more of a rock theme than normal shows that you do, I guess.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that actually. Lots of Welsh music. I think it's mostly rock centric actually, to be fair. It's either rock or rap and hip hop. Like, I mean, there's an artist called Lemfrec who just won the Welsh Music Awards maybe a month ago or something. And his music is really cool actually. It's really vivid and quite deep actually. So that I played him as well. But yeah, I'm making it a mission, like a mission statement, to play more Welsh music, support the local talent.
Yes, no, do shout it out, shout it loud. Great to hear.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to pick your brains on this
Oh,
week's
okay.
Hot Shot. More just about I was quite intrigued about how you described it. Really, I don't know pronouncing it. Is it Litani? Litany?
Well, I mean, tomato, tomato. I think I called it litany.
Litany. Okay.
Yeah, it had been a few years actually since she released music. They used to be a duo in the late 2010s. I think 2017. They had some songs which I was properly obsessed with back then. And you forget about artists, when they don't release music for quite a while. And
Yeah.
then it was like a nice surprise when I saw new music from her on one of the playlists. So yeah, I really like that track. And it also had a meaning to me because it was all about long distance relationships. So if anyone's been through that, like I have, it's just about, persevering with that because you know that you want to be with that person at the end of it. So it was all about that. And in terms of sounds as well, it was just really upbeat pop, which is kind of my favorite. That's kind of my genre that I love the most. And it had a brilliant sax solo. Honestly, probably the best of the year, maybe.
But it was just the way like you described it as. I think it might have been on one of the posts rather than the show itself, but around like icy pop to kind of make you dance and cry. And I was just like trying to picture that as a whole as a tune reader. But I suppose you have to probably listen to it to fully understand. And actually, when you do listen to it, you go, "Oh, it makes perfect sense." But when you read it, I was like, "How do you dance?" And quite like it's very, very prescriptive, but probably nailed the brief, I guess.
Yeah, maybe a bit melancholic as well. But I really loved that song. And do you know, it's really difficult sometimes each week to pick my hot shot, which is my favorite song of the week for anyone who doesn't actually know what that feature is. Because sometimes there's about five or six, which I love. And it's just like, oh, what can set that apart and actually make it my favorite? So sometimes it's very hard, but this week it was quite easy, to be fair.
Well, anything else from the show in terms of highlights or anything that you kind of want to pick out? What
Yeah.
stood out for you in terms of new releases, first plays, etc.?
Listen, I always get excited when an artist, gives me the honor really of playing a song for the first time on radio. And this week it was a duo from LA. They're called Golden Cats, and they're just really effortlessly cool. They're brand new. This is like their third release. And they've built up quite a big fan base using TikTok and stuff, utilizing how they make their music, which is definitely a trend in music. Getting the fans behind it and inside the music. So I think it reached the most amount of followers I've ever had on a post for this week's show because of them. So I played that song for the first time on radio, and it's a really great song called Night Walks, and it's quite ominous a little bit. But yeah, they're just really cool. I think they're going to be ones to watch.
Yeah, no, it was great. I think we kind of shared that as well on social media, and they were very quick to kind of reshare that and jump on it as well. And like you said, I think some of the content out this for this week and some of the artists, especially those guys, have kind of I'd say blown up, but it's kind of got a bit more notice, which is great for us and for those guys as well, which is the whole point.
Yeah.
Um, Anything around kind of album of the week? Freeberg, is it kind of their
Yes.
album?
Have
What's all
you
that
had you
about?
heard of them before?
No.
Okay, they're quite new as well, actually. Funny enough, yeah, and their album was called Hardcore Workout Queen. Love that title. And I think they're based in London, but the ringleader of the band is called Anna, and I think she's Danish or Belgian, and she refers to herself as a cowbell master.
Right. Okay.
And they definitely work that into their music. It's just like they described that album as a bit of a road trip. So it had different vibes, different atmospheres. Like imagine if you were in a car. So some of them sounded like you were driving late at night with like lots of street lights. Other times you could imagine you're like on a highway in America or something with palm trees all around. It had that kind of switch up, which was really, really interesting. And it had a little loose narrative, but just a really fantastic album. And one that I will revisit because normally I don't have that much time to listen to albums all the way through or a couple of times before the show because it's such a quick turnaround.
Yeah, yeah.
And but yeah, it was a really fun album that I rated a lot actually.
I mean, yeah, like you asked, I've never heard of them, and to be honest, Lewis, there's quite a number of artists that I haven't heard of before, kind of tuning into your show and following you as well. So, which is the whole point of New Music Hour XL. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's definitely a number of tracks and artists that I've kind of gone back and listened to with some of the songs, and even on my playlists, and yeah, some of them are kind of I wouldn't say household names as such, but I kind of recognize
Oh
them
yeah,
and
not at all.
engage with
Yeah.
them more and more, really,
That's
which
that's
is
probably
great.
the most common feedback, people not knowing who the artists are. And I like that though. I like uplifting artists right at the start of their journey. And also my other thought on that is every song that gets released by an artist has been a debut single sometime. It has been new.
Yes,
And then it grows from there. So I love getting behind it right at the start.
I love it. No, I love it, and your kind of enthusiasm for it as well, which comes through massively, really, kind of each week. I suppose probably conscious of time and a couple of things I just want to finish up with. Uh, any kind of artists that you're kind of planning to see, or you've got plans to go and see live in person that we should know about and be on board with?
Absolutely. I haven't got tickets yet, but I am really angling for them. I think they'll be okay to get because she's quite a new artist, but her name is Rose Gray, and I've supported probably every single of the last 2 years on my show because she is such a good artist. She's been described as like Kylie Minogue for the 2010s before, or 2020s rather. and you can definitely hear that in her music. And she just is so cool. And she's going to be doing her first ever headline tour next year. And I think it'll just be one big party. I cannot wait to see her. I feel like I need to not miss out on that one.
Do you know kind of where we can see her? Any kind of venues planned?
Yeah. It's there's 3 dates, one in London, one in Manchester, and Brighton. So unfortunately, not making her way into Wales.
It's all right. Just a perfect excuse to go kind of either away for a day or two and go and watch some kind of
I know. I think she'll be
show.
worth the journey. What about you? Have you got any upcoming, any live music to look forward to?
No, again, like you, I kind of was looking to see what was around, kind of locally, more kind of more intimate gigs, some kind of
Mm,
smaller venues in London around as well. I went to see, I mean, not a new artist by any means. I went to see James Bay the other week in Bristol, but it was more, it was to try out some material from his new album that he's just dropped ahead of his kind of UK tour next year. So very kind of intimate venue in terms of Bristol. I think the Fleece, very small, no warm up,
yes,
no kind of
yes.
literally straight in, 40 minutes, and that was it. But yeah, that's probably that was a good couple of weeks ago. I haven't got anything planned. I need to kind of do it, and there's a few artists that I've seen online who are in and around the Cardiff and South Wales area in the coming weeks, and I probably should just make a bit of an effort and go and catch some of them and just say hi.
I know. Yeah, I think there's a lot of live music that happens in Wales, more than you would expect, actually. And I definitely don't make the most of that either. So that's kind of my goal. Maybe for next year, actually, to venture out a little bit more and get down to some live music in the
Yeah.
capital.
And then finally, Lewis, I suppose you kind of look at new music releases, I suppose, as part of coming up towards the end of a week. Anything
Yeah.
that you can tease us with, or anything we should be aware of, or kind of on your radar?
Yeah, I think there's going to be quite a few. Well, I haven't heard them yet, so I don't know if they're going to be good. I just want to caveat that. But in terms of the artists, I think, big artists come in. So, and there's a few from Lil Nas X, he's back. And it's been quite a while
Yeah.
that I recall since he's dropped anything. So that'll come with good visuals actually with him. Whatever the song sounds like, the visuals will be out there, playful, creative. So there's him, and also Addison Rae. She was a hot shot on my show the other week, and she's dropping a remix of her latest song, which I'm just excited to hear. I think it's going to be very interesting, that one. Yeah, and then Tate McRae as well. She's a bit of a global rising star, and she always makes good bops, which I love.
Fab. And so it comes with a caveat. We haven't heard the material yet, but
Yeah,
I think there's the fact that some of the names you mentioned and the reasons for selecting them should put us in good stead to hear some good tunes. Fingers crossed.
could go either way.
Great, great. Lewis, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been fab to catch up with you and talk all things new music, your show especially as well. Yeah, and always good to kind of keep up to date with everything that's going on in terms of the new music world. So much appreciated, and look forward to catching up next week and doing it all over again.
Oh, we love it. We're ready already.
Amazing. Nice to see you, Lewis. Thank you.
Ta-ra!
Have you made the switch to South Wales' hottest online radio station? Available online, via the app, and even on Alexa. This is SW20 Radio. So much great music across the entire week. It can only be the hottest online radio station in South Wales. This is SW20 Radio.